What if I told you that the most important 90 minutes of your entire day are not the time you spend exercising, not the time you spend eating your healthiest meal, but the first 90 minutes after you open your eyes in the morning? I have spent over 30 years in clinical medicine, working primarily with adults over 60, and I have reviewed an enormous body of research on aging, cardiovascular health, mobility, and longevity. And something I have come to understand deeply, something that most people are never told, is that the morning hours after 60 are biologically different from the morning hours in younger adults. Your body does not wake up the same way it did at 40. The systems that regulate your blood pressure, your balance, your joint lubrication, your blood sugar, and even your mental clarity all function differently in the first hour or two after waking. And small choices during this window, choices that take almost no extra time and require no special equipment, can meaningfully shape how you feel for the rest of the day. More importantly, when you repeat these choices day after day, month after month, year after year, they accumulate into something far more significant. They shape your health trajectory. They influence whether you remain independent, mobile, mentally sharp, and physically capable as you move through your 60s, 70s, 80s, and beyond. Most people focus their health efforts on what happens later in the day. They plan to exercise in the afternoon. They think about eating well at lunch or dinner. They consider their evening routine for sleep. But the morning, particularly the first 90 minutes, is largely ignored. People wake up, rush through their routine, skip hydration, move stiffly, expose themselves to artificial light, spike their stress hormones, and wonder why they feel foggy, achy, or exhausted by mid-morning. Today I am going to walk you through what I call the morning 90-minute protocol. This is not a rigid prescription. It is a framework based on what the research suggests and what I have observed clinically in thousands of patients over 3 decades. It is simple, safe, adaptable to your specific limitations, and designed specifically for adults over 60. Before I share the protocol, let me explain briefly why morning biology changes after 60. First, your joints do not lubricate as quickly. The synovial fluid that cushions your knees, hips, shoulders, and spine needs movement to distribute properly. After a night of stillness, your joints are at their stiffest. This is why so many people over 60 wake up feeling like the Tin Man. Second, your blood pressure behaves differently. There is a well-documented phenomenon called the morning blood pressure surge. In the first few hours after waking, blood pressure naturally rises. In older adults, particularly those with hypertension or cardiovascular risk, this surge can be exaggerated and potentially dangerous. How you wake up, how you move, how you breathe, and how you hydrate all influence this. Third, your balance systems need time to recalibrate. The vestibular system in your inner ear, the proprioceptors in your muscles and joints, and the visual processing centers of your brain all coordinate to keep you upright. After hours of lying down, these systems need gentle activation. This is why falls are more common in the morning hours for older adults. Fourth, your blood sugar handling is different. Insulin sensitivity fluctuates throughout the day, and for many older adults, the morning presents a unique window where what you eat and when you eat it can influence glucose control for hours afterward. Fifth, your nervous system tone affects everything. Cortisol, the stress hormone, naturally peaks in the morning. This is normal and necessary. But if you wake up rushed, anxious, dehydrated, and immediately flood yourself with stressors, you can amplify this response in ways that affect your heart rate, blood pressure, digestion, and mental clarity. Understanding these changes helps explain why what you do in the first 90 minutes matters so much. Now let me walk you through the protocol, counting down from number 7 to number 1. Number 7 is gentle joint awakening. Before you even get out of bed, your joints need movement. This is not exercise. This is simply waking up the tissues that have been still all night. Start while lying on your back. Slowly rotate your ankles in circles 5 times in each direction. Then point and flex your feet. Move to your knees, gently bending and straightening each leg. Roll your wrists. Make slow open fist movements with your hands. Then, while still lying down, bring one knee toward your chest, hold for a breath, then lower it. Repeat on the other side. This gently mobilizes your hip joints. When you sit up at the edge of the bed, pause. Do not stand immediately. Roll your shoulders forward and backward. Turn your head slowly left and right. Tilt your head ear toward shoulder on each side. This entire sequence takes perhaps 2 to 3 minutes, but it distributes synovial fluid, increases blood flow to your muscles, and signals to your nervous system that movement is coming. The common mistake is rushing. People wake up, plant their feet on the floor, and immediately stand. This skips the preparation phase, and for joints that are stiff and muscles that are cold, it increases discomfort and injury risk. If you have significant back pain or hip problems, do what you can without pain. Even ankle circles and wrist movements are beneficial. Modify based on your body. Number 6 is the safe balance prime. Your balance systems have been inactive all night. The vestibular apparatus in your inner ears, the sensors in your feet and legs, and your visual spatial processing all need activation before you challenge them with walking or stairs. Here is a simple sequence you can do standing near your kitchen counter or a sturdy chair, using it for support as needed. Stand with your feet hip-width apart. Shift your weight slowly to your right foot, lifting your left foot just an inch off the ground. Hold for 5 seconds. Lower and repeat on the other side. Do this 3 times per side. If that feels stable, try doing it without holding the counter, but keep the counter within reach. Next, stand on both feet and slowly rise onto your toes, then lower. Repeat 5 times. This activates the calf muscles that are critical for balance recovery. Finally, stand on one foot for 10 seconds if you can do so safely. This challenges the vestibular and proprioceptive systems. This takes about 2 minutes. The science here is straightforward. Balance is a skill that responds to practice. Brief, daily activation of these systems maintains and improves the neural pathways that keep you upright. The common mistake is skipping balance entirely or assuming that walking provides enough challenge. Walking is mostly automatic and does not require the same level of balance system engagement as single-leg activities. If you experience dizziness or vertigo, do this sequence entirely while holding on to support. Never challenge your balance in a way that feels unsafe. Number 5 is light exposure. This may sound surprising, but exposure to natural light in the first 30 to 60 minutes after waking is one of the most powerful signals you can send to your brain. Light entering your eyes reaches the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the master clock of your circadian rhythm. Morning light exposure helps synchronize this clock, which influences sleep quality, hormone release, mood, and cognitive function. Research from the past several years suggests that older adults who get morning light exposure have better sleep patterns, more stable mood, and potentially better cognitive outcomes over time. The practical application is simple. Within the first 30 minutes of waking, spend at least 5 to 10 minutes near a window with natural light, or better yet, step outside briefly. This does not require intense sun. Even overcast daylight is far brighter than indoor lighting. If you cannot go outside, sit near the brightest window in your home. Open the curtains fully. The common mistake is remaining in dim indoor lighting all morning, particularly in winter months when people tend to stay inside with curtains drawn. This deprives your brain of the light signal it needs. If you have eye conditions that make bright light uncomfortable, work with your ophthalmologist on appropriate modifications. Even indirect natural light is beneficial. Number 4 is strategic hydration. After 6 to 8 hours of sleep, you wake up mildly dehydrated. This affects everything: blood pressure, cognitive function, joint lubrication, digestion, and energy. The simple intervention is to drink water early in the morning. A glass of room temperature water within the first 15 to 20 minutes of waking begins to rehydrate your tissues. However, I must add an important caution here. If you have heart failure, kidney disease, or are on fluid restrictions from your physician, you must follow your doctor's guidance. Do not increase fluid intake without clearance if you have these conditions. For most healthy older adults, 8 to 12 ounces of water in the first 20 minutes is appropriate and beneficial. The common mistake is substituting coffee for water. Coffee is a mild diuretic and does not replace the rehydrating effect of plain water. By all means, drink your coffee if you enjoy it, but have water first. Number 3 is nervous system calming. Your cortisol is naturally elevated in the morning. This is not inherently bad, but if you wake up stressed, rushed, or anxious, you amplify this hormonal response in ways that affect your cardiovascular system and your mental state. A simple breathing practice can modulate this. After you have done your joint awakening and had your water, sit comfortably and take 2 minutes for slow, deliberate breathing. Inhale slowly through your nose for a count of 4. Hold briefly for a count of 2. Exhale slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Repeat this cycle 5 to 8 times. This activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest branch of your autonomic nervous system. It counters the morning stress response and can help stabilize blood pressure. The science here is well established. Slow breathing with extended exhalation shifts autonomic tone toward relaxation. This is not meditation or anything mystical. It is straightforward physiology. The common mistake is checking your phone immediately upon waking and flooding your brain with news, emails, and stressors before you have given your nervous system a chance to settle. If sitting still for breathing feels uncomfortable, you can do this practice while looking out the window or after your light exposure time. Combine them if that works for you. Number 2 is morning protein prioritization. I am not going to enter the debates about specific diets, but there is consistent evidence that protein intake in the morning, particularly for older adults, supports muscle preservation, blood sugar stability, and satiety throughout the day. After 60, your body becomes less efficient at using dietary protein to build and maintain muscle, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. This means you need adequate protein distributed throughout the day to maintain lean tissue. A breakfast that contains 20 to 30 grams of protein from eggs, Greek yogurt, cottage cheese, fish, or other sources provides amino acids during a window when your body can utilize them effectively. The common mistake is eating a breakfast that is almost entirely carbohydrates, like toast and juice, or skipping breakfast entirely. Both approaches miss the opportunity to support muscle protein synthesis early in the day. If you have kidney disease or are on a protein-restricted diet, follow your physician's or dietitian's guidance. For most healthy older adults, prioritizing protein at breakfast is safe and beneficial. Number 1 is the targeted morning strength move. Here is where I must address something I call the walking trap. Walking is wonderful exercise. I recommend walking to almost all of my patients, but there is a pattern I see repeatedly that concerns me. Many people over 60 wake up stiff, dehydrated, and unbalanced. They put on their shoes and immediately head out for a long walk. Their joints are not prepared, their balance systems are not primed, their muscles are cold. For some people, this leads to increased knee pain, hip discomfort, or falls. The morning hours are when fall risk is highest, and a cold, stiff body walking on uneven pavement is a setup for problems. I am not saying do not walk. I am saying do not walk cold. The sequence I recommend is prime first, then walk. Before any sustained walking, spend 5 to 10 minutes on the protocol I have described. Wake up your joints, prime your balance, hydrate, get light exposure, calm your nervous system. Then, before walking, do one brief targeted strength movement. My recommendation is the supported squat to stand. Using a sturdy chair, sit down slowly with control, then stand up slowly with control. Do not use momentum. Do not push off with your hands unless you need to for safety. Move slowly and deliberately. Do 5 to 10 repetitions. This movement wakes up your quadriceps, glutes, and core. It reinforces the most functional movement pattern in daily life, the ability to get up from a chair, and it provides a brief loading stimulus to your muscles and bones that walking alone does not provide. A 2023 review in the Journal of the American Geriatric Society found that sit-to-stand ability is one of the strongest predictors of functional independence in older adults. Strengthening this pattern has carryover to everything else you do. If you have significant knee pain, you can modify by using a higher chair or placing a cushion on the seat to reduce the depth of the squat. If standing from a chair is genuinely not safe for you, consult a physical therapist for alternatives. After this brief strength activation, your body is now prepared for walking. Your joints are lubricated, your muscles are warm, your balance is primed, you have reduced your risk of discomfort and falls. Now let me give you a practical timeline for how this all fits together. In the first 5 minutes after waking, while still in bed or sitting at the edge, do your gentle joint awakening. Ankles, wrists, knees, hips, shoulders, neck. From minutes 5 to 15, hydrate with a glass of water. Do your balance priming near a counter or chair. Do your slow breathing practice. From minutes 15 to 30, get your light exposure. Sit near a window or step outside briefly. Have your protein-containing breakfast during this time. From minutes 30 to 60, do your sit-to-stand repetitions. Then proceed with your morning routine, showering, dressing, whatever your morning involves. From minutes 60 to 90, if you are going to walk or do any other exercise, this is the appropriate time. Your body is now prepared. This is not rigid. If your schedule varies, adapt it. The key principles are gentle movement before intense movement, hydration early, light exposure early, balance priming before walking, and strength activation before sustained activity. Let me share a few examples from my clinical experience. I had a patient in her late 60s who complained of morning dizziness and brain fog that would persist until nearly noon. She was drinking coffee immediately upon waking, skipping breakfast, and then going directly to an exercise class. When she shifted to hydrating first, eating protein in the morning, and doing gentle mobility before leaving the house, the dizziness resolved within 2 weeks. She described feeling like a different person by mid-morning. Another patient, a man in his early 70s, had significant knee stiffness that made his morning walks painful. He was convinced he needed to push through the stiffness. When he began doing the joint awakening sequence and supported squats before walking, his knee pain during walks decreased substantially. He was doing the same walk, but his preparation changed everything. A third patient had been told her blood pressure was difficult to control in the mornings. She was waking up stressed, checking her phone immediately, and rushing through her routine. When she incorporated the breathing practice and slowed her first 30 minutes, her morning blood pressure readings improved without any medication changes. These are not miracle stories. These are examples of how respecting morning biology, rather than fighting against it, leads to better outcomes. I want to address safety clearly. If you experience chest pain, severe shortness of breath, sudden weakness on one side of your body, confusion, or fainting, these are not issues to address with a morning routine. These are medical emergencies requiring immediate attention. If you have complex medical conditions, are on multiple medications, or have been told by your physician to restrict activity, talk to your clinical team before implementing new practices. This protocol is designed to be safe and gentle, but your individual circumstances matter. Now I would like to hear from you. Tell me in the comments how old you are and where you are watching from. I am always curious about the community that gathers around these discussions. And tell me, what is your hardest morning issue? Is it stiffness, balance, energy, blood pressure, brain fog, something else? Your answers help me understand what topics to address in future discussions, and they help others in this community realize they are not alone in their experiences. If you found this valuable, I would be grateful if you would take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It helps more people find this information, and it allows me to continue creating content that I hope genuinely helps people live better. Let me close with a thought about two futures. In one future, you continue waking up the way you always have. You roll out of bed stiff, skip water, check your phone for stressful news, drink coffee on an empty stomach, and head out for a walk with cold joints and an unprimed balance system. Some days you feel fine. Other days your knees ache, your balance feels off, and you feel foggy until noon. Over years, these patterns accumulate into increased fall risk, more joint problems, and diminished vitality. In the other future, you claim the first 90 minutes as your foundation. You wake your joints gently, you hydrate intentionally, you prime your balance, you get light exposure, you calm your nervous system, you nourish yourself with protein, you activate your strength before walking. Each morning you build a slightly stronger, more stable, more capable version of yourself. Over years, this accumulates into preserved independence, reduced fall risk, and sustained vitality. The second future is available to you. It does not require expensive equipment, gym memberships, or hours of time. It requires only a willingness to respect your body's morning biology and to spend 90 minutes doing simple things in the right order. It is not too late. Whatever your age, whatever your current condition, your body still responds to the signals you send it. Start gently, progress gradually. Be consistent. Thank you for spending this time with me. Take good care of yourself, and I will see you in the next discussion.